Welcome to my interview. Today I'm going to interview my dad. What was your favourite classic movie as a kid?
My favourite classic movie? That's a tough one. Because I like lots of movies. I think maybe I'd have to say Star Wars, the original one, A New Hope. Back then it wasn't called A New Hope, it was just called Star Wars. And it was such a big movie and I watched it a lot growing up. And I really liked the characters and I had all the toys as well.
What was your favourite video game?
My favourite video game, I have had so many that I really like, but when I was a kid, I used to have an Atari 2600 game console that had basketball. It was cartridges, you'd put the cartridge in, and it had basketball, and it also had a game called Combat, where you'd drive tanks around and you'd shoot each other and the little dots would bounce off the walls on the map, and sometimes you'd bounce it off a wall and ricochet it and hit the other person's tank. And my brother and I used to play that for hours. We used to love it. It used to make all that sort of bing boom sort of sound effects, and it was really old graphics, and it was at 8-bit I think.
What was your favourite outside game to play?
My favourite outside game to play, I used to spend most of my time outside on the weekends, playing outside in the street. I used to ride my bike around everywhere, my skateboard. I used to build cubby houses a lot in the trees out the back of my house. I used to dig in the houses that were being built across the road.
What was your favourite toys?
My favourite toys? I remember really liking Lego a lot. I used to build a lot of Lego. And I also had all the Star Wars toys, the action figures and the Walker and the Millennium Falcon and lots of other really cool Star Wars toys. I really liked Star Wars a lot when I was young, and it was the biggest thing at the time, so I used to love it.
What was your favourite food?
My favourite food? Well, I do remember when my parents went out for dinner, they'd go and get McDonald's for dinner, and I used to like having Macca's, but I probably really liked Chinese food and pizza as well.
How did you get to school, and what games did you play at school?
I went to school in Donvale at a school called Our Lady of the Pines Primary School, and my mum used to drive me to school, and I used to like playing outside at lunchtime. Again, we used to play, there were like pine trees all around it. I think that's why it was called Our Lady of the Pines. We used to play in the pine trees, and we used to play kick to kick, footy, and probably chasey and tiggy and tag, all the things that you probably all you kids still play today. Down ball as well was definitely something I played a lot.
What was your favourite things to draw?
My favourite thing to draw, I'll tell you what was a memory that stuck with me was at school we used to make picture books, and I used to collect on the juice boxes these stickers that were He-Man stickers, and I used to stick them on paper and I'd draw a scene around the characters, and once I made a storybook out of it, and I was pretty proud of that.
What was your favourite song or music?
My favourite song or music? Well, I think in the 80s when I was little, like around your age, Michael Jackson was pretty big. And I remember when Thriller came out, my father brought home a video, a VHS cassette that had the Thriller music video on it, and where he turns into a werewolf and a zombie, and I remember thinking it was pretty scary, but we were pretty amazed by the music, and it was huge. It was the biggest thing in the world at the time.
Thanks, Dad, for telling me about your childhood and life in the past.